Welcome back. Hello, everyone. My name is Don K. Preston. I am the president of Preterist Research Institute of Ardmore, Oklahoma. And this is what I call my morning musings. I'm enjoying some good coffee here. Been sitting here doing a lot of study this morning and realized I hadn't done my video. Anyway, we are investigating the eschatology of the parables of Jesus. We embark now on an investigation, Matthew 25:14 and following, in what can be labeled as one of a series of parables found in Jesus' ministry. It can be labeled as the absent master. This is very, very critical, and we'll develop it as we go along. But I want to tell you, it is fantastic material, and it's highly, highly important for our understanding of biblical eschatology. But for now, I want you to notice that Jesus tells of a certain nobleman. He was going to go away on a long journey, so he gathers his servants to them and he disperses his talents, disperses funds, if you please, to his servants. And he goes away. And as he stays away, those servants began to apply the monies that had been left in their care. Some managed it well, others did not. One really didn't manage it well at all. He kind of hid it in a field. The master returns after a long, quote, a long time. We'll have more to say about that later too. And he demands a reckoning of those servants. A judgment is set. And so we have here Jesus talking about his going away and coming back for a reckoning, for a judgment. Now, it's widely assumed that Jesus here is talking about his going away and the long time of what we call the church age, and that one day he will return. The trouble of it is, when we look at the direct parallel to this parable, the parallel that's found in Luke chapter 19, 11 and following. That direct parallel is of a man going into a far country, there to receive a kingdom, and then to return. And he dispersed his talents to his servants, and he was going to return and see what they had done with those talents. But while he was gone, some of those servants said, "We will not have this man to be ruler over us." They rejected him. When he came back, he judged those wicked servants. He said, "Bring here those servants that would not have me to rule over them." And he cast them, quote, into outer darkness. There can be little doubt whatsoever that Jesus here is describing his going away and then the Jewish rejection of his sovereignty, the Jewish rejection of the kingdom, and his return to judge Old Covenant Israel. Now look, if you want a really, really fine discussion of this, you need to get Joel McDermott's book, Jesus v. Jerusalem. It's found on my website, eschatology.org or bibleprophecy.com. McDermott does a really, really fine job of discussing the lawsuit nature of Jesus' parables in Luke especially against Jerusalem, showing that Jesus was warning Jerusalem that her judgment was coming in that generation at his coming. So when he examines the parable of Luke chapter 19 and the absent master, McDermott does a really fine job. Now, you're going to find yourself reading this book saying, how can he say those things and not be a full preterist? Many people have commented to me about that. Well, it's not logical, it's not consistent, but he does that, as many authors do. But you really need to get a copy of this book, Jesus v. Jerusalem, and you need to read McDermott's comments on the absent master of Luke 19:11 and following. Absolutely excellent exegesis. The point of fact is that the parable in Matthew chapter 25, 14 and following, is the parallel with Luke 19:11 and following. But the parable of Luke 19:11 and following, and the absent master motif that is there, has Jesus going away to receive the kingdom, to return, and to judge those who had rejected his kingship. That was the Jews. And that was Jesus' return in AD 70. Now what that means is that the parable of Matthew 25:14 and following is also about Jesus' return to judge his wicked servants, those who misused, those who abused, those who rejected. But that proves the unity of Matthew chapter 25 with Matthew 24 in the first part, which means that, once again, Matthew 25:14 and following is not about some end of the world coming of Jesus. It is Jesus' coming in judgment of Old Covenant Israel in AD 70. Look, go to my website, eschatology.org, bibleprophecy.com, order Joel McDermott's book, Jesus v. Jerusalem. Mention that you saw the offer on YouTube or Facebook, and I'll refund your shipping. Thanks so much for joining me for this morning's Morning Musings. We'll see you on the flip side.